Jason Whitlock gives his 2 cents on the bombshell lawsuit of FS1 versus Mrs. Farahi. And it starts off kind of cringy, but then he says something that, kind of made sense. And, well, just hold on a second.
I can't say anymore. I'm probably already in trouble for mentioning it to a, well, we call you normies.
Jason Whitlock, he has a history in the sports commentary world, all right? He starts out a long time ago being, I believe, a beat writer for Kansas City for the Chiefs, I believe. He goes on to ESPN, then he goes to AOL Sports, then he goes to Fox Sports around 2016, and that stint didn't last very long, and now he is on YouTube, as you can see, Fearless with Jason Whitlock, which is under the umbrella of Blaze Media, or also known as The Blaze, okay? And because he was on Fox starting around 2016, he knows a little bit about this whole thing with Joy Taylor and a little bit about Skip, I believe, as well. And he's gonna talk about it. We're gonna react to it. It's about a 10-minute video. We're gonna get to the good parts, all right? This is on YouTube, all right? So because it is, I have to get my fair use clause. So before we get to the reaction, fair use.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
And I don't say this to be hypercritical of Joy Taylor. I don't have harsh opinions of Joy Taylor. She's not someone that I didn't get along with. I basically, for the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor.
Okay. Now, as you can see, he was with Fox. He already says that. He states it just now. He knows of Joy Taylor, but he says he kept his distance. Now, this is where, in the beginning of his assessment of the lawsuit and his opinion of Joy Taylor or the situation involving Joy Taylor, this is where it kind of gets a bit, like I said, cringeworthy, if you will. Y'all saw the end of the title. But then he goes on to talk about an experience he had with her on one of his shows, or to start one of his shows. So let's continue.
And I kept my distance, not because I didn't like her. It's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know.
Now, he starts out by saying, I know myself.
Hold up.
Now,
Say that to me one more time.
What do you mean by that?
He says, I know myself. Now, I don't know what he means by I know myself.
Enemy spotted.
But that sounded a little bit, I don't know. I mean, you look at the lawsuit with Skip and everything, it sounds maybe predatory. I don't know. He says, I know myself. Now, as a man, it's good to know yourself, know your limitations, or know what you would do in a particular situation, and therefore you wouldn't put yourself in that situation. So kudos to him if it was anything like that in general.
I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack. Like,
hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. I was starting laughing. Hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Yes, sir.
My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. That big rack and that peanut butter skin. Well, now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, Joy Taylor is a very nice looking lady. Okay?
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Yes, sir.
And, if your boy, Mr. Normie, if I had the chance, maybe we'll go behind the woodshed and see what's going on. You know what I mean? But, hey, what she's being accused of is some heinous stuff. And he's going to say those words rack again a few more times. It's kind of funny.
that's going to get you into trouble. And so that's what I did. I kept my distance. Because when you put some woman in a job, talking sports with a bunch of men, it's a job she's not qualified for. She's talking sports with professional athletes, people that did it at the highest level. She's talking sports with me or Colin Cowherd or other people that have like really studied sports at a super high level. What does she have to offer other than her sex appeal? And so should we be surprised that she leaned into that?
I would argue no. Now, there are some women out there that will keep it professional. And kudos to those women that are trying to get ahead on their own merits. Yes, I know it depends on what field you're in. If you're in a male-dominated field, it's going to be harder. Yes, it is. It's the way it is. I can't do anything about that, okay? I can't start an OnlyFans and sell my body on there, just like you probably can't be a sports reporter and do it, get ahead very far in a male-dominated world. It's like I can't get far ahead in a female-dominated profession or hobby, if you will. So the double standards that exist for a reason, can't change it. At least not now anyway. For just $5 a month, please consider becoming a member of Welcome to Normieville. There you will find access to members-only videos and members-only live streams, as well as a host of other perks. Thank you for your consideration. Back to the video.
No, they put her in that position where it's the only thing she had to offer, and so she offered it up and got what she wanted. Let's think this through. If you go into the lawsuit and the things that Nusheen says and the way she says things played out, Joy Taylor was some sort of fill-in talk show host down in Miami who, people in Miami kind of knew who she was. I think she may have had some association with Dan Le Batard or whatever, but she hadn't taken Miami by storm as a radio talk show host. She was a little extra. Attractive girl, Jason Taylor's sister.
Now, remember the live stream I did, if you were watching it, she came from Miami. She was on AM radio, if I believe my memory served me correctly, and she was doing other things in the city of Miami. She somehow makes it to Los Angeles to Fox Sports, and from there, she was a fill-in moderator for the Colin Cowherd show, I believe. And then that's where she kind of finesses her way into Undisputed via Mr. Dixon, and it takes off from there, or she takes off from there, okay? Using her sexuality for position.
Let's put her on radio, but she hadn't really done anything. But somehow, she's qualified to be the host of Undisputed, a debate show between Skip Bayless, who, like him or not, was an accomplished sports journalist for a time.
Sure, you're right.
And a Hall of Fame football player in Shannon Sharpe.
Sure, you're right.
Shannon Sharpe reached the top of the sports industry. Skip Bayless reached the top of the sports media industry. And Joy Taylor had done some radio work down in Miami. What does she have to offer? So how does she get that job? How does she even get that opportunity? Because she's got a big pair of cans, and she's, according to Sheen, she's willing to let people enjoy those big cans of hers.
Indeed.
That's how we got here.
Allegedly.
And it's not Joy Taylor's fault. And I want to go through and I'm trying not to disparage Joy Taylor, but the facts are the facts. I can remember I'm at.
Now this is where he's going to go into a scenario or a time when he was at Fox Sports, and I believe this is around the time he was getting ready to go on the show with Colin Cowherd, because he was on the Colin Cowherd show for a little while until he went into another show with Marcellus Wiley. And I think he has some other shows in between there. And eventually he moved on, right? I don't know if he moved on personally or the company moved on from him. But he had a stint with Fox Sports. And now, again, like I said before, he's on the Blaze. But he's going to talk about a time where he was supposed to give Joy Taylor what am I looking for? An audition to be on his show, I guess, as a moderator. And from his words, she didn't do too well.
Sports at the time. And I ran into some friction because I didn't want a woman on a show that I was doing at Fox Sports. And so this is in 2015, 16 at the very beginning. And I can remember they brought Joy Taylor in for a test on the show that I was doing. Yeah, this is at the time when I was going to be initially doing my own show, and Cowherd was doing something else. And just keeping it all the way real, Charlie Dixon wanted her to be involved with my show. And so we brought her in for a test. And I didn't think the test went well. And I let everybody know, hey, I don't think this test went well. I don't want, this isn't the direction I wanted to go. I was trying to play nice and trying to meet them halfway in terms of okay, you guys are insisting on a woman being on this show.
Now, before he finished this off, I believe this is around the same time. This probably, if I had to assume, this is probably right before she went to Undisputed, because Undisputed aired, I believe, in August of 2016, if I remember that correctly from the live stream. So this was probably right before she got offered the gig at Undisputed, because his show probably came first, and he didn't want her on the show. She didn't go on. I'm sure Nick Dixon tried to pull his arm or twist his arm. He didn't do it still. And so then the Undisputed show comes up, because I believe this was in the inception of Fox Sports, the early inception of all the shows that were coming on. And well, she didn't get on with Jason Whitlock, but she got on with Skip and Shannon. I mean, that's how it turned out, looks like.
That's what everybody wants. And I was like, well, you need to bring a grown-ass woman on the show if it's going to be with me. It can't be at this time. This is 10 years ago. Joy Taylor's probably 25, 26 years old. You're talking about, I mean, I got a lot of discipline, but 25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say, at some point I'm going to lose respect. And I'm like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin. And so if I got to...
And I have to admit, this is kind of cringeworthy how he keeps saying, the cans and the peanut butter skin. We get it, man. She's a nice-looking woman. She got a good skin tone, and she got a nice body. Still, even today, yes, at that time she was 25 or in her early 20s, right, mid-20s. We get it, man. I mean, your description of this is kind of getting, yeah. Do you want to be in a lawsuit too, bro?
Up with this, I might as well enjoy them big cans. And so I said no. I don't want to put myself in that position. And so I can remember I brought in Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie Bernstein's around my age, a few years younger perhaps. But I was like, she's been around the block. She actually has been involved in sports media for a long time. She might have something of substance to offer. And the test we did with Bonnie Bernstein went much better. And I was like, if we're going to go, they were adamant, no Bonnie Bernstein. When I look back in retrospect, when I say they, I'm talking about Jamie Horowitz. And I don't know if I heard from Charlie Dixon on this, but I'd certainly heard from Jamie Horowitz. They were adamant, no Bonnie Bernstein. And when I look back in retrospect, I'm not trying to disparage anybody. I'm just keeping it real. This show is called Fearless. I got to tell you the truth so you can understand these things. When I look back in retrospect, they were like, Bonnie Bernstein, she was 20 years ago. We've had our way with Bonnie Bernstein. We want something fresh and new. And so Bonnie Bernstein, a woman that's pushing 45, 50 at that time, no value. No.
So basically he's saying that they wanted some fresh meat on the show. They wanted Joy because she was younger. She was something nice to look at. The lady that he wanted was more experienced, but, she wasn't as attractive. And looking back at it now, he can probably see what they were trying to do. Now there's lawsuits out. He can, put two and two together now, if that makes sense. No one's sexually attracted
enough to Bonnie Bernstein at that time to give her the job. And so we didn't do that. I kept holding firm. Next thing you know, me and Cowherd are doing the show together, and Jason McIntyre is going to be our sidekick. And that was a better landing for me than doing the show with a woman.
Well, there you have it. Now, I'll leave a link to this video in the description box so you can watch it in its entirety without my commentary, but basically see what's going on here, right? Jason Whitlock had Joy audition. She didn't do well. They tried to force her on him for the show. He stood his ground, and then he's on the show with Colin Cowherd with another male moderator, which worked out better. Y'all probably watched that show when it came on. It ran its course, and everything else, fell into place with Undisputed and all the other shows that came afterwards, okay? So, again, the big cans, the big rack, the brown skin, tried to get on many shows they could. She ended up getting on Undisputed, and years later, now she's in a lawsuit. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all because Jason Whitlock was with Fox Sports during his time, and he had a little bit of insight into what was going on, all right? So, with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of Normieville. You know me, I'm just Normie, here to bring you the latest and greatest in sports news. Let me know what you think about Jason Whitlock's cringeworthy but truthful commentary down in the comment section. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on your way out of the door. And I will see you on the next video.